when I was growing up, none of us would ever go to hang out at a bar. That would just not be something that we would do. But when I was in law school, it's like that's just like, no, that's what you do. You go,
Yeah, right.
you know, that's what you guys do a lot. So, and yeah, it was just so that was a little bit of an adjustment. As it happened, I met Lady Logic near the end of my first year of law school.
Nice.
And I got engaged to her soon thereafter. So it's sort of and we do engagements and marriages in my community really fast. You'll get engaged in a period of weeks, and you'll get married, and you get married 3 months later. It's like you go within 6 months, you can go from not meeting the girl to being married and she's pregnant. And that's it really works like that fast.
Right.
So yeah.
What are your thoughts? I'm sorry, just I find that very interesting. What are you, so like how do you explain that short time window? Because obviously nowadays, especially today, where it's like I know people who were like dating for 10 years before they finally got married, and to me that is like on the opposite end, right? Of that spectrum. And so like how do you explain that timetable, for you and your wife, for example, like moving quickly? Like how do you look back on that?
So that's what I always knew I would do. Okay. Whichever woman it was going to be, that's how our culture and our society operates. So you have to realize that Orthodox Jewish men and women we're prohibited from touching each other unless it's your wife. So, and when I say not touching each other, I mean physically zero contact. I'm not just talking about coitus. I'm talking like literally zero contact.
Not even a handshake.
Right. Literally not a handshake.
Wow.
So, and there's a recognition though of human nature that, look, if you care about someone, you're around them for extended period of time, that becomes a test, which becomes impossible. So especially if it's, for a prolonged period of time. So, I mean, we don't deny the existence of natural human urges. In fact, we think that they're actually a blessing that God gave it to us. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you don't need to control them or account for them in how you're going to conduct yourself. So first of all, we don't date in general. Dating, boys and girls don't hang out together. Not that they never do, but I'm saying it's frowned upon.
Right.
And then when you start dating, it's like you're dating for the purposes of getting married. Right. And you will be set up. Everything is set up by a blind date where you have a go-between in between you. And they like, look, this girl, they'll come to you and they'll tell you, this girl seems like a great girl. We each have today they'll have like a CV for each person who's on the dating market. I'm not kidding. There's literally, and it wasn't like that when I was younger. But now when you can just shoot a CV over to someone via text messaging or whatever, it makes sense to do that. We basically give a little background about the girl, her family, what school she went to, what she's looking for, what her education is, what type of, professional aspirations he has, she has, etc. Right. And then, and there are different labels that we have for different types of Orthodox Jews. And those labels, are sometimes appropriate. Sometimes they're really a little bit too conforming. So anyway, the bottom line is, and then once each side agrees to go out, so they'll just keep dating until one of them says, no, this is not someone I want to marry. And then it's over. And you never see the girl ever again. You never have anything to do with her. And that's basically, and so when a guy and a girl basically are set up like this, so they know already generally where the person's coming from. Each one knows where the other one's coming from. And then they'll basically date and see, okay, do we get along? Do we, we like each other? We enjoy each other's company? Do we have mutual interest, aspirations, expectations, etc.? And, are we comfortable with each other? Are we attracted to each other, etc.? And then once you basically click off everything after, and you feel comfortable enough that you're like, you know what, this is someone who I can be comfortable with spending the rest of my life with and raising a family with. Well, let's do it. Let's get married. And then the whole engagement period, it's like they just rush as fast as possible to get everything set up and cooked out. And you get your hall and you send out your invitations and boom, voila, you're done. So that's basically the process. So obviously we don't know each other as well as a you know, a couple that's been dating for 10 years, and that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing. Part of learning about each other is part of the healthy part of a relationship, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole learning to exploring someone is something that, you know, is part of the excitement of a new relationship. At the same time, I'm not going to kid you, the first year of marriage, when you go from spending your entire life to literally, you know, just doing things wherever you want, whenever you want, and all of a sudden there's another person you have to answer to. And you've never had a relationship like that. See, you guys, when you've dated, every one of you has had a boyfriend, a girlfriend. I mean, unless someone is, you know, like a real, you know, sociopath, they've had some sort of relationship with someone of the opposite gender. So you're sort of like, you know, understand how relationships work. And there really isn't very much experience in that type of capacity for our youth. So it's sort of, there is an adjustment period. I'm not gonna kid you.
Yeah.
And with me, in my particular case, which is a common thing because we believe in having large families. So, I mean, I met my wife in April. She was pregnant with my child, and we were married by the following September.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's basically within a span of 5 months. I went from meeting this girl to being married to her, and she's carrying my child.
Wow.
So, and that's my oldest, who now has made me a grandpa twice.
Grandpa Joe. Yeah.
Grandpa Joe.